So what's up, guys? Today, what I'm going to talk about is the deep, dark world of notary negotiations. Now, what I know a lot of you out there are wondering, you guys are wondering, what is the secret sauce to handling calls that actually get to close deals and the calls that are actually going to result in getting you paid? And that's why the Ultimate Notary bundle. And of course, the Ultimate Notary call script is going to take a lot of that mystery and all the guesswork out of all these conversations and these sales calls that just turn into these never-ending tornadoes of vortexes where you guys never get out of it and just going on and on and on and on, and you never get to close a deal. So we're going to put an end to that. That's why I have here the picture of the notary marketing guide. And you can see at the very bottom where we show you how not just getting the leads and getting the appointments, but you can consistently get booked in any environment. There's talk about the attorney states, loan signing, fingerprinting, apostilles, wedding officiant, permit running, field inspections. I mean, you name it. The service or whatever product or whatever solution, whatever you come up with, it is irrelevant. And through this call, I'm going to demonstrate why each and every individual, no matter what they're particularly looking for, why every single call, the similarity between each and every single one, every single time. And I'm going to demonstrate this through this drastic phone call, is that every person, they're looking for one question, and that question is always the same. It never changes, no matter what. That question is, when can you get here? That's the only question that they're looking for. All right. So now, before we get started, the one thing I want to tell you guys, and I want to warn you about, is that, you know, notaries often get caught off guard, right? You never suspect when somebody's calling. You never quite seem like you're ready for it. It's always at the worst possible time. It's when you're in the middle of doing something. You never know, and to highlight that, you never know what that person is calling about. See, it could be the middle of the day or the middle of the night, and when your phone rings, the person on the other end of the phone, you don't know who they are. One minute you're thinking about, oh, it's just, a routine call. It's just person just calling because they need something signed. And then the next thing you know, you're facing a skilled negotiator, somebody who's throwing curveballs left, right, they're throwing strikes, they're throwing fastballs. And then what happens? You end up losing the appointment and you feel sorry for yourself. And you blame things that had nothing to do with it, like, oh, that person, they didn't want my price. They said that I'm too expensive. Or they said, or some other excuse, when that's not really the case. The reality is that, number one, you talk too much. That's just plain and simple. We see how when people do these mock calls, these pretend phone calls with each other, when there's no money on the line, there's no stakes, out there, and people, you might be guilty of this. You just talk too much. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean, and you'll see this in the video, is that 80% of the talking is actually done by the caller. Number two, you want to impress people with your knowledge and your experience and your attention to detail and your professionalism. Like, none of that matters. None of it. The person who calls you only wants to do what? They only want to answer one question. And that question is, when can you get here? They don't want to know about your experience. They don't want to know about your professionalism. They don't want to know about your attention to detail. They don't care about that. None of that matters. All they care about is what time can you get here. So your job, what is your job? Your job is all about asking the right clarifying questions. Your job is to ask the right questions. Your job is to listen, listen, and listen. And trust me, when you keep a few pieces of close information to your chest, it works out in your favor. You don't want to talk and talk and talk and talk too much because that's not why they called you. They called you to answer one question, which is making you get here. So I want you guys to really pay close attention to that. And we're going to break down exactly what happens on these calls. So this is a very, very good call. It literally covers the entire spectrum of tools and resources that you have available that's inside of the Ultimate Notary Marketing Guide. All the tools that are there, I mean, you have to use every single one of them. This isn't always the case, but like I mentioned before, oftentimes you'll enter into a call and not even realize that you're in the middle of an active negotiation. So first off, it's very crucial that I want you guys to pay attention to this. As we go through the call together, I'll point this out, but I want to give you guys a quick preview. I never once did I ever answer the guy's question about pricing. All right, so this is a common thing that you'll see me do in a lot of the videos. People will ask about pricing. They'll ask how much does it cost, right? This is a question that freezes a lot of notary. It literally stops them in their tracks. How much does it cost? Can you give me a price range? About ballpark of how much am I expecting? That question comes in many different forms, but you'll see how I skillfully negotiate that question and I don't answer it. Right? So that's one thing. The second thing is because because I'm the person who's on the phone, I never reveal that I'm the actual notary as well. So two things. When you're on the phone, not only are you skillfully guiding the call, but you're not revealing the price, nor are you revealing that you are the person who's going to be providing the service. That, as a result, gives your company a big company feel. It's not just a one person, one man, one woman show. It's actually a big company. We have several, uh, you know, technicians or people who could service a number of clients. And that's going to play into your favor when it comes to delivering a price. And it can justify why your prices are what they are at a premium rate. The last thing we want to do is reveal to the client that we are, in fact, the notary. And the reason why is because that's a signal to them to start negotiating directly with us. All right. And that's the last position you want to be in where the person understands that you're the owner. And oh, I'm talking to the owner. I can actually reach out and touch the owner and I can talk directly to you. It's never a good thing. Stay in control of the conversation. You want to guide it to where it needs to go. And um, another thing I want you to listen to is how the caller, and this is a sign of somebody who's very skilled, the caller will take the opportunity to minimize the importance of what a notary does. And they do it unknowingly, or maybe they do it knowingly, but they can, by them doing that, especially if you're unsuspecting of it, that will, as a result, cause you to lower your price because they make it seem or they minimize what it is you do and they make it seem like it's insignificant. And then why would you charge a premium rate for something that doesn't mean much? You see how that works? So I want you guys to pay attention to how the caller does that and see how I respond and check out how I rebut that that notion that what a notary does isn't important. And they'll say things like, "Oh, it's just a simple document. Oh yeah, it's just a couple signatures. Oh, it won't take that long. Oh yeah, it'll just be 5 minutes." They say things like that, but you can avoid those type of issues, and you can also counter those type of issues with very specific uh, comebacks. You know, basically just helping them realize that, this isn't as simple as you think it is. You know that, right? And one of the things that I like to do is I'll ask the person, "Hey, are you a notary?" I'll ask, I like to come, "Are you a lawyer or a judge?" I like to say that because that helps to emphasize that no, it's not as simple as you think it is. And matter of fact, whoever you're sending this to, they're looking to reject this. And you may not be aware of that, but we are. So we want to help you do it right the first time and not the third or fourth or fifth time, because that's what's going to end up costing you more money. Okay. And here's the kicker: more often than not, and a lot of times, you may not even be talking to the decision maker. Now, Tekk, what does that mean? That means that the person who's calling you, they're actually calling on behalf of a family member or another loved one. Or it might be the executive assistant to somebody's boss. Or it might be the legal assistant. It might be the social worker, like it is in this case. He was calling on behalf of the family. So that's always something important to keep in mind. Now, instead of some mock call or some pretend script between two friends or between two partners where there's nothing on the line, there's nothing at stake, there's no real money involved being transacted, what I'm going to show you is a real, actual live call with an actual client. You'll get to hear firsthand how I navigate their questions, how I keep the conversation focused and on track where I want it to go, and how I handle some of the tougher questions that um, somebody who may be a skilled negotiator, I don't know if they're a skilled negotiator, but it's never a bad thing to put it past them. You don't want to get caught off guard with, because you don't know what this person's background is. And as we know, people will use certain exaggeration tactics and certain insignificant tactics to get you to lower the price. So I want you to pay close attention to how I steer the conversation, how I ask those specific questions, listen to the tone in my voice, and most importantly, how I keep the person talking. I want to keep the conversation going, because that's where the magic happens. I keep them talking, not myself, right? I You want the talking to be done by 80% of them. Okay, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and get into it.
The rest of the family is in Virginia. They want to sell the property. James is aware they want to sell the property and doesn't have a problem with it. But James would have to, sign on the situation. James doesn't have a current ID because James has been with us for years.
Yes. Okay.
I do
Who?
have copies of his past IDs, but
Okay. Do you have possession of those? Are these physical cards, or are these just copy scans of the IDs?
copy scans.
Okay. Okay. All right. And the other family, you say you have two families, so that's one. And what about the other family? What's their situation?
The other family, as far as I can tell, because I've been sent a lot of documents and not given a great deal of explanation, are looking. Originally, they wanted to get the gentleman an ID, and the gentleman is largely bedbound, can be gotten up in a wheelchair, nonverbal, not too communicative. And my understanding is ultimately they want to get they want to bring the gentleman home, and they need to get his signature for housing documents.
Okay. Does he already have the document prepared as well?
I have documents. What I would ultimately like to do, if this is something y'all can work with, is I'd like to put you in touch with both families, because they're going to be the ones paying you.
Yes.
You
Okay.
know, as I put it to one, I said, I don't want your credit card number. It's easier for me never to have it.
Very good, very good.
So, I mean, and I know that this, like I said, has kind of the sound of potentially, and it's not anything. It's just this is what I was given. So I'm doing a little research with the hope that I can find a company that can work with them and provide them, and I'd like to be able to give them kind of a rough estimate. Well, actually, let me ask you this question because
Sure,
you
go ahead.
you are in a better position to know than I. Uh, Spoke to one notary service and they said, "Oh yeah, we can do this without the ID." Um, they said the signature was going to be between $20 and $80, which I thought the signatures were mandated by the government, but it was just a question of how many times you had to use the stamp. And I mean, this is your world. You tell me. And the other was they wanted in excess of $100 for a travel fee, and we're talking Alameda County. We're not talking So what would your travel fee be?
Yeah, good question. So, well, there's no way we could do it for $20, David.
Well, no, I'm talking about the signature itself.
Yes. So the family who doesn't have the ID, you you've got some homework to do. So we've got to figure out how to identify this person, and then there sounds like another family or another individual who may or may not be totally aware of what he's signing. So if he's nonverbal and we can't agree to whether or not we can actually sign the document, there's we've got some homework to do with the family first.
Well, let
Okay.
me ask this question then. We have a document we use, and I'm going to say internally, but it's usually when a resident, let's say, goes to the hospital, we call it a face sheet, has a picture of the resident, has their defining their basic defining characteristics, their age, their date of birth, their things like that. Is that something that might be useful in this situation?
Yeah, good question. No.
I mean, okay, that was an easier answer than I was expecting. I was going to say I can send you one if you want to see one, but you're
No.
saying no. Okay.
No, David, that's an easy one, David. That's very
I'll take
simple, very
easy.
straightforward. Yeah. So being able to identify your clients in this case will be our first priority. If we can't identify them, then you know, I don't think I don't think we would move forward with the appointment, whether it's $20 or $80 or $1,000,000. It really wouldn't matter.
No, understood. And I'm only asking about the money because I want to respect my clients. Their money in this situation and try to get them the best deal possible. But if you tell me it's X, and everyone else says X is something in the neighborhood of X, I take X.
Yes.
If you tell me one thing and someone else tells me a different thing, I'm going to keep calling people and I'm not. That's not any disrespect to you. It's just doing my diligence.
Well, no, well, David, it kind of depends. Is price more important to the family, or is helping the documents be executed and their homes be transferred? Is that more important?
I think price is important in the fact that what's if, like I said, if you tell me the travel rate is $40 to come to Alameda plus whatever per signature you do, okay, that's a price. If I call someone else and they tell me $200 to come to Alameda, and you're both within 5 miles, I question, and I'm not saying that somebody doesn't have the right to charge $200. I'm just going, why is it $200 versus one?
Well, what they quoted you for the $20 to $80, that's only for XYZ. we could potentially give you that same amount, that same quote as well. But like I mentioned, it just depends on the results of the family themselves. What is it that they're looking for?
Okay. Well, what in the case of the title document, they're just looking to get him with the title document signed so they can go forward with the sale.
Yes.
In the other case, as I said, I think they're looking to get a signature on a housing document. I'm not 100% sure because it's kind of been a moving target as to what the goal is. And I would have no problem putting you in touch with them so you can ask, I'm going to say intelligent questions because, like I said, this is your world, not mine.
No, I get it.
If you want to ask social services questions, that's my world.
Yes.
I can answer those. Yeah, I stay in my lane. It's easier.
Well, David, how about this? We admire your hard work because it sounds like this is a lot of hard work. So you taking on this task is very admirable. But thank you for providing those details. My recommendation would be to pass along our phone number to your clients. And it sounds like they have they do have documents that need to be signed, and there may or may not be people who are clients or patients that may or may not be willingness to sign. So I think we would be happy to move forward, at least do an intake, so we can give them a an accurate or suitable assessment for their notary work. This is something that you don't take to UPS store, right? Does that make sense? This is something that you.
Oh no, this is not your normal. I need something notarized. I walk in, I hand you my I have a passport and I have a California driver's license. When and if I need something notarized, I hand you both of those, and you take out the book, you do your stamp thing. It takes maybe 6 minutes, kind of thing. This is not going to be the 6-minute version. I gotcha.
Okay.
And I respect that. I just, like I said, I wanted to, get some more information so I could pass it on. I will tell them that you might be the right person to talk to. I'm going to talk to other notaries, just like I said, so I get more of a grasp on what.
David, how about this? Do this. There are agencies, and I'm sure as a social worker you understand this as well. There are agencies that look for reasons to reject documents. Okay, and documents can be rejected very easily when something comes into question, or if it's contested, or if there's some background information that may or may not, you know, add up correctly. So, and there's family members involved as well. It sounds like there's multiple people involved. So, my recommendation: just have them call us.
Okay, I will pass your information on.
Yeah. Are you a lawyer, David? You sound like you've done the notary. You've been around the industry before.
I've had to have things notarized in my life. I mean, I pay. I pay above average attention when I have to do things.
I wish more people were like you, David.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you for your time.
All right.
And should I have them ask for you, or is there?
No, they can just call this number. Someone will answer the phone. But it looks like we can have a suitable notary for them. And this is Oakland. You said it's Alameda County. Is it, what city is it in? Oakland.
We're in Alameda.
The city of Alameda. Yep, very good. Near
yeah,
Otis.
Like I said, 5 miles. So it's not a heinous distance. It's just it needs a mobile notary. So, I've worked with mobile notaries on various things in this world too. So I understand. I'm not asking for anything, that's not customary. Just I don't know what's customary here, so I'm going to ask the question, what's customary,
All
So,
right, very good.
all right.
Very good.
I
Call
will
us if you have any questions. Yep.
Will do.
All right. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You see this shit?